Good evening and welcome to another fantastic edition of Plus Sport. Definitely it's been another exciting moment on the show today. And we'll be looking at football administration in Nigeria, the way forward. Nigerian football administration started in the 70s. Some said 1973, while I said some 1972. It started with Nigerian Football League, from Nigerian Football League metaphors to Nigerian Premier League, to what we now have, Nigerian Professional Football League. It's been a lot of stories, not so good stories, different maladministration, different things that have given Nigerian Football Club Administration not a very good name. Talking to me on this issue is a very experienced football administrator, talking about Dr. Christian Emeruwa, who is the head of safety and security for the CAF, that's Confederation of African Football. It's good to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Mudashiru. Nice to be on your show again.
Yes, let me go a little bit to, we've not spoken to you since we had a new head of affairs in terms of Nigerian football administration. The last I heard about your involvement is that you handed over your manifesto to Ibrahim Guzo to take Nigerian football forward. So far, so good. This is not a major topic, but just tell us a bit of how you've been doing since then.
Well, I've been very busy, as you know. I left Nigeria almost immediately afterwards. I went back to work in CAF, and within the period that I left Nigeria now, I have engaged in some of the activities that I'm supposed to be overseeing, which was a visit to Algeria to inspect the various stadiums in preparation for the CHAN, which will be coming up next year. And now I'm currently in Morocco, also to oversee the security arrangement for the Women's Champions League. So there's a whole lot going on. And of course, you know, next year we have so many competitions of CAF and a lot of preparations and work going on. Not to mention that I would also be involved in the World Cup in Qatar, meaning in the next few days I should be heading to Qatar for the World Cup to also support FIFA in the delivery of the World Cup.
Okay, thank you. Keep keeping Nigerian flag flying as usual. Now let's go to football club administration in Nigeria is not to write home anything to write home about. Why do we have all these issues? I mean, there have been theoretical solution, but no practical implementation of all these policies. Tell us, why are we where we are when it comes to football administration in Nigeria?
Well, I mean, I said so much during the course of my campaign, and I want to just try and summarize as much as I can. The truth is that the template upon which we are still using today is not something that is workable. No matter who is there, no matter who occupies what position, if we do not change totally the modus operandi, there is nothing that is going to come out from anything that we are doing. It will just be more of a cosmetic approach. We need to totally uproot, or if I would use the word, demolish the current structure, the current system, and come up with a very new system that would meet up with the contemporary times. We cannot continue to run football the way it is run in the 80s and expect to get a different result. A situation whereby people are not meeting up with the club licensing criteria and they expect to be running professional clubs. I have seen that recently there was the inauguration of the IMC, and I've read a couple of some of the circulars that have gone out in respect of ensuring that club licensing criteria are met and so on and so forth. But we will still watch and see how all this will unfold. But again, the truth of the matter is that football, the way it's run in Nigeria today, cannot give us the result that we all yearn to see. We need to really change our modus operandi if we want to get the results that we are all talking about. And as you mentioned earlier, it's all about talk and little action or motion towards actualizing what we want to see. We must run football professionally. We must ensure that clubs meet the certain criteria before which they can be registered. They must meet both the medical, financial, infrastructure criteria, administrative criteria before they are registered. And the league itself should be run in a manner that would show that the organizers of the league are serious with the business of organizing the league and not shacking up their responsibilities to people like the clubs in this case. In the case of asking clubs to pay for indemnities of referees and so on and so forth. We also must invest in capacity development in our leagues. The people who are organizing the league today needs to also be trained. They need to be updated. I said so much about this because you cannot expect a man who has not been trained in over 30 or 25 years to be able to make any meaningful change in terms of what you want to see. So there's a whole lot, from an administrative point of view, to a technical point of view, to infrastructure point of view, not to forget security and safety aspect or medical aspect, and of course also the insurance aspect, so it requires, as I say, an overhaul of the entire system. And for us to say, guys, we cannot continue to do things as we have been doing it. We really have to sit down and chart a new course, just as was done by those who created the most beautiful EPL we all talk about today. They came up and said, guys, we can't continue like this. We have to turn this into a serious mega business. And they are doing very well about it today.
So now I think a lot of people also think that government involvement, government ownership of clubs, if that is solved, that government should hands off football clubs, Kano Pillars, Eimba, Atland Football Club, and many other clubs, that government should hands off that, and that 50% or if not all of our problems will be solved. How true is that? Do you think if government hands off club ownership, we are way forward to where we want to be?
Well, again, you see, these are issues that when I hear people say government should hands off, I ask the question, why? Why should government hands off? Government should also be part of what I refer to as catalyst to any sector's development. But what is most important for us is, do we have rules that must be met by every club, whether owned by government or private sector, that will be treated evenly and equally in a manner that will show that these clubs have met the professional criteria to be registered as professional clubs. Most of the big clubs in the UK actually started from counties. Manchester City, Manchester United, these were owned by a county, and counties are government institutions. So before they became bought in by investors. So we talk about the high things without looking at how it has a direct impact. A man owning a club does not decide how your league is run, for example. The man owning a club does not decide the rules guiding how that club would engage in your league, for example. So whether it is owned by government or it is owned by private individuals, the fact is that the basis, the foundation upon which admittance into your league system should be well defined. And if they meet the criteria, they are welcome. If they don't meet the criteria, then they are not welcome. So the more the merrier. If we have government clubs and we have private individuals clubs competing favorably under a very conducive environment, I do not see anything that is wrong in this aspect. Of course, we know that there are also non-compliance in terms of government oversight on the clubs that they even own, because I think I wrote about this sometimes back, that governments are being made to feel as if football investment is corporate social responsibility. However, what they are not being told is that they are generating a lot of money in these clubs or from these clubs. I've asked the question severally, has government taken time? I mean the state government, have they taken time to look at the books of these clubs, the players that are being transferred even within the Nigerian market, how much is being paid, where is the money going, so it's not all about waiting and giving annual subscription or monthly subscription or weekly subscription for clubs to go and prosecute games. It's also to ask about how are these resources being managed, and if government conducts due diligence, they will begin to understand that investing in a football club is serious business, which can actually generate internally generated revenues for the government if things are done properly. Because if you block all the loopholes, whereby some people who are currently superintending over these clubs are even richer than some clubs, you begin to wonder, what is going on, So these are issues that people need to take a look at, and I mean even the government who owns the clubs, to say, are the books correct? What are on the books? But I don't know how this can be done if the system is still operating the way it is currently being operated.
I'm sure you said the way forward and what really needs to be done. Let me, away from my question before I round up with you, is that will we be seeing you contesting in the next election after 4 years from this?
Well, I would say let's pray and hope for life first,
Okay.
and see what happens when we get to that time.
Okay.
Let's just keep our fingers crossed. But I'm not promising anything.
Okay. But you're also going to continue giving your support for the present administration, I guess.
Of course, President Ibrahim Busso is a very good friend of mine, and apart from that, we are still part of the football family in Nigeria. So we continue to advise as much as we can.
Thank you very much, Dr. Christian Emeruwa, for always being part of the show. Thank you for your analysis, and I'm sure a lot of people are already watching and giving their views on the administration of football club and the way forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mudashiru, and have a lovely evening.
Yeah. Dr. Christian Emeruwa is the head of safety and security department of the Confederation of African Football. He has been flying our flag, the green, white, green, when it comes to international football. Yes, we'll take a quick break, and next we have a guest in the house. We'll be talking about Bankole Olowokere is the coach of the Flamingos. He said the Flamingos will deliver the bronze medal when they face the German side on Sunday. Don't go away. It's still Plus Sports.